menswear. Am I right?
You are. What's up, guys? This is Nick at Stridewise.com, and with me, as sometimes, is Troy Barmore. So we are here reviewing proper cloth, which is why we dress a little bit more nicely than normal, because this channel does focus on casual, durable stuff. I've decided to encompass business casual into that.
I'm a sucker for fancy stuff.
I live in New York City, and so I was able to go and get measured in person at their headquarters downtown Manhattan.
If you are not near there, which is probably most of you who are watching this video, then you can go online, and there's a number of different ways that you can go about it. Now, in my experience, getting tailored, clothing made for you online can be a very overwhelming experience. You often go on to these websites that have tailoring services where, stuff is made overseas and sent over, and it's very affordable. But when you actually go to get it made, you're faced with a spreadsheet of measurements and preferences and choices, and every single component of the shirt has a different sizing component to it, right? And that can be extremely overwhelming if you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, they're sort of trying to use like the modern digital architecture to do something of a direct-to-consumer tailoring experience. Mm-hmm. It's a hands-on craft, right? Knowing all the things you need to measure for yourself. Nonetheless, this is, as an example, an Oxford cloth button-down shirt. As Troy likes to point out, the button-down, that means that the collar is buttoned down here. So not every shirt with buttons is a button-down.
Indeed.
And this is tailor-made, and it's $105. At the same time, I got some chambray shirts. This is one with linen that's like a lot more knotty and irregular. And meanwhile, Troy got some jeans and the linen shirt made.
So when you're entering the world of tailoring, there's a few kind of good things to understand. Off the rack is your standard. You go into a store, shirt's already made, it's already done. You buy it, you take it home. If it fits you, it fits you. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Right? From there, we enter the realm of sort of custom made stuff, which can be kind of a nebulous thing. To keep it simple, we can break this down into something that is made to measure or bespoke. Made to measure typically refers to a garment that has some like general sizing guidelines and an overall template that's already kind of existing. It's going to fit in this general way, and then we take your measurements and apply that template to those measurements to get something that fits you in a more custom way than something that's off the rack, right? From there, you get into full bespoke, which is where you are specifying everything about that garment, from the width of the collar to the distance of the seams and like every component of that. You're not working off of a preset template. Proper Cloth really focuses on the made-to-measure corner of the tailoring world, which is kind of the best spot for most people, because really, unless you are a very, very intense, very knowledgeable person, full bespoke is actually going to be too much for most people. So you take the survey where you put in your information about like your height and your weight and some basic information about yourself. Based off of those answers, it gives you an estimate on what it thinks your sizing is going to be.
On the website, they are pretty good at not just saying, this is the fabric, this is what it's made from, but they'll also have like a rating system for how wrinkle resistant it is, how opaque it is, which might sound fun to some folks, but when you're looking for linen clothing, that's a very big part of it, especially if you want that classic white linen shirt, that's part of it.
So when you go on there, if you are not that interested in getting super granular and understanding every single element about the clothes that you're going to get, you just know, I want a black dress shirt. You can go through by style, select it, and then go from there. And it's pretty straightforward if you want it to be. There are some other companies out there where, they'll advertise the price of a shirt is, it's like, oh, $90 for a custom-made shirt. And by the time you're actually done selecting what you want it to be, somehow it's a $200 or $300 shirt, which is crap. And that's something I actually really appreciate about Proper Cloth. You go on and you say, okay, I want the fancy fabric. What is it? So I know I want Thomas Mason. So I go in there, shirt's $200. I put in my sizing. I go to checkout. It's still $200. I like that.
Where Proper Cloth stands out is like they're so good at the online stuff. Like the website's really easy to use. The user experience is
not
really
overwhelming.
Good. It's very easy to shop. It's easy to put in to put in your measurements and so on. It's good at guessing your measurements if you aren't 100% sure what they are.
Surprisingly good.
It's also good at just taking your exact measurements if you have those, which you should do just to be on the safe side. But
if you have them.
Yeah, but it's very smart the way it works, and it's also just very, very easy to use.
What I like about Proper Cloth, probably more than anything else, is there isn't a barrier to entry where you already have to know a certain amount. You can go to Proper Cloth and be a complete novice and really just want something that is nicely made, that fits you well, and you're not going to get lost, and you're not going to end up, paying too much for something that you don't understand, On the tags on the clothing, it actually has all of the measurements listed out, and I think it has it on the shirts too. I could be wrong.
Oh, wow, look at that.
Yeah, so you can use this as a template for additional things, and if you know, what? Really, the shoulder was a little bit too big on this, or I know that, like, the leg opening width on my pants is just really wasn't quite as much as I wanted it to be, and I see what the measurement was. I can tweak that. For the end result, they actually fit pretty darn good. It's definitely an improved fit from your average off-the-rack shirt. Now, I'm a pretty slender guy. I tend to fit off the rack fairly well. If anything, my issue is shirts tend to be a little bit too big and a little bit too baggy on me. So then I end up with a bunch of excess fabric bunched in the back, especially on dress shirts, which I can't stand. These shirts don't have that really. Like they're a little bit big when they first arrive, and they are, made to be sort of shrunk to fit. My stuff, following the guidelines for washing pretty closely, shrank down and fit pretty darn well. I think any adjustments that I would make are very minimal. The other nice thing is if you're ordering multiple shirts, they will send you your first shirt. They will keep your other order on hold for you to get your first shirt, right? And then based off of how they fit, they'll say, okay, do we need to change something? Do you need to send it back and we can modify it? Or are you happy with this fit and should we apply those measurements to the other shirts on your order, which I really, really like. It's snug, but not overly tight, and I intentionally did not specify or re-specify. It's perfect.
Hey, I forgot to say that a cool thing Proper Cloth does is that if you need alterations on your clothes and you don't want to go through sending it back to them, Proper Cloth would also rather you not have to mess with that either, because it's very complicated, things can go wrong. So they give you a credit for getting them altered at your local neighborhood place. It's like up to $125 for suits and a little bit less for shirts and trousers. But that's another really cool thing. They'll just let you go and do the alterations, and you take a photo of your receipt, and they'll just they'll reimburse you. So that's a real time saver.
There's been a lot of discourse lately, and we can thank Derek Guy on Twitter for it about the collar gap and how that can always, that's like a red flag that someone just got something off the rack, and now people are noticing if you got a collar gap or not. And me and Troy, both of us, we don't have the collar gap with this, so you get those points from the Twitter guys.
Once you've had something that's made for you, it will ruin you for off the rack dress clothing in particular.
Well, especially because you can also get custom made casual stuff as well. Proper Cloth's insane. It's so inexpensive at Proper Cloth.
Yeah, for what you're actually getting compared to what you'd pay for off the rack most stuff, not even, luxury fashion brands, but again, just go into Macy's or go into, Nordstrom's or Bloomingdale's and you'll see shirts that are way more expensive than what we're wearing. Yeah. And they're not going to fit you as well.
Now, some of the stuff is more pricey. When you get, they've got the wool dress pant, and this one was like $300. It's like from this Italian mill. Mm-hmm. It's very nice. It's worth it. But you can get the more expensive stuff. They get your measurements here in the US, and then they mail them to tailors in Vietnam. Some of this stuff is from Vietnam, some of it's from Thailand, but it seems to be mostly from around that area. While the fabrics themselves, typically, they can be from anywhere, but when I've been looking at them, a lot of them are from Italy. I've got a shirt with a chambray shirt with fabric from Portugal and so on. So it's all very nice mills.
Yep, the fabric for my white jeans that I got is a Japanese denim.
Yeah, you got
really
Japanese
nice
selvage jeans here as well. Let's talk about the downsides. They send you stuff that is shrink to fit. Because for guys who don't know, when something is like, I guess you call it loom state, like when it's exactly the way it is when it comes off the loom when the fabric is made, it shrinks when you wash it normally, and it's hard to guess how much it's going to shrink. And so these days, almost everything that you buy is pre-shrunk, it's pre-washed, just because the brands don't want to deal with all these returns any more than you want to have to deal with returning it. Proper Cloth, I'm going to say presumably because the tailors or whoever are making them for them in Southeast Asia don't have these industrial washing facilities, which are things that exist.
You get a whole little pamphlet that comes with your item of clothing that says, just so you know, if this is a little too big, don't freak out.
Actually, they give you specific instructions for each shirt. And I've had different shirts that hey, wash this one, but wash it on cold. Wash this one, but wash it on warm.
Yeah, you got to be careful.
And it's easy to mix it up. And I obviously, this is me not doing what the brand told me to do, so a lot of it is my fault. But
the average consumer probably doesn't want to read a ton.
I'm also aware a lot of guys are kind of stupid with this stuff.
Yeah.
This is the take home. Even if it says, hey, wash it on warm or hey, wash it on hot, because there'll be different instructions for different fabrics, wash it on cold first. See how that shrinkage works.
But-
And if it's still too big, all right, then do it on warm. But like do it a bit by bit like that, because once it's too small, it's too small.
Just as a pro tip, like don't put linen on hot and don't ever put linen in a dryer. At the end of the day, I have far more positive things to say than negative gripes.
Well, there's not much swatch talk on their website. Maybe they send you a swatch.
Probably. I doubt it.
Maybe
I
not.
doubt it.
That would be a nice extra service for them to do. I'm always down to smack talk a company.
I want to set it on fire.
It smells like a Halloween store. It smells like chemicals and sadness.
I hate like this. It pisses me off so much.
But the price is so good.
Yeah. And compared to other, tailored and made to measure, companies that are out there, do we want to
We can mention one.
mention
I mean, like
anyone?
Articles of Style is one that I use. Have you ever used
I've
that?
never used Articles of Style before.
They're just much more expensive.
Yeah.
And the fabrics, they might be a little bit nicer, but honestly, it's more like a tailor who you are also online with and you can talk to and everything like that. But it's much more expensive.
Yeah, I would say-
what they offer for the price, and also again they tell you where the fabrics are made and all this really good information about the fabrics. It really is impressive.
My only other point of comparison in this kind of echelon or at this level would probably be like a Suit Supply, and I had a much better experience with Proper Cloth.
Really?
Oh, night and day. Yeah.
Have you done Suit Supply?
Yeah, I've had several pieces made for them,
Boy, I
and
really need a Suit Supply review. That'd be really good.
it's been a while, and I think I've gotten rid of most of my Suit Supply pieces that I had made because I wasn't happy with them.
I'll get you a new
Yeah,
one.
most of them weren't that good, and the whole time I was in there, and I did the in-person thing, and for the folks that I worked with were very nice, but the whole thing felt like an exercise in upselling, where I didn't know exactly what I was going to end up paying by the end of it, and by the time I was done, it was significantly more expensive than I planned on it being, just based off of basic measurements. So, for this kind of level of clothing and of servicing, I've got pretty much nothing but positive things to say. I'm pretty impressed.
I like them too. We weren't paid for this. Now I got to say that. I thought we had a decent amount of critical stuff.
I don't have to say anything. I can tell you if it sucks. I don't care. I don't even work here anymore.
Bye, everybody. Subscribe for more stuff on casual durable stuff. We rarely do stuff as nice as this, but again, they do perfectly casual stuff like this stretch selvage.
They're made from proper cloth.
Made from proper cloth. Bye. Goodbye. Thanks for watching.